Let me start with this. Have you ever sat down to think something through and your mind just wouldn't cooperate? You know what you need to figure out. You know you should be able to think clearly. But instead, your thoughts feel foggy, scattered, or stuck. And the more you try to force clarity, the worse it seems to get. My friends, if that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. It's not a thinking problem. It's not a discipline problem. And it's definitely not a sign that something's wrong with you. What it is it's your nervous system under pressure. And today we're going to talk about why clarity disappears when you're overwhelmed and why trying harder usually backfires and how to actually create the conditions for clear thinking again. Not by forcing calm, but by understanding how your system works. My friends, most people think overwhelm means they're bad at managing life. But overwhelm isn't about weakness. It's about load. Too much input, too much responsibility, too many decisions, too much emotional weight. When that happens, your brain does exactly what it was designed to do. It shifts into protection mode. In that state, your system prioritizes speed, energy conservation, threat reduction. Not clarity, not creativity, not long-term planning. And that's why overwhelm looks like racing thoughts, indecision, emotional reactivity, or complete mental shutdown. You're not losing intelligence. You're losing access. Your system isn't broken. It's overprotecting. And that distinction, my friend, matters. Now, here's the mistake most people make. They assume that if they just think harder, analyze more, talk to themselves into calm, clarity will just come back. Well, my friends, clarity doesn't respond to pressure. Under stress, the brain narrows focus. It becomes rigid. It loops the same thoughts over and over and over. That's why you can say, I know what I should do, but I just can't do it. or why clarity after the stress passes and think, why couldn't I see that earlier? Was it because clarity disappeared? Nope. It was just because it was offline. You can't think your way out of a state your body is still in. So let's make this practical. Think about a time when you were exhausted, emotional, or overwhelmed. Notice how decisions felt heavier. Everything just felt urgent. Need to solve this now. Small problems felt big. You turn molehills into mountains. Options, they felt limited. Wow, I only have this one thing to do. And that's not because you suddenly became bad at thinking. It's because stress changes how your brain allocates resources. Are you following me, my friends? Like, under pressure, your system says, now's not the time to explore. Now's not the time to experiment. It's time to survive. It pulls energy away from that logical reasoning, creativity, flexible thinking, and routes it towards that protection. That's why forcing decisions when overwhelmed, it often leads to regret. Because your system wasn't ready to think yet. And here's where most people accidentally work against themselves. Okay? They try to force clarity. They overthink. They consume more information. They push themselves to the side. They criticize themselves for not being calm. But the pressure adds more threat to an already stressed system. So instead of clarity returning, that system that you have just tightens further. Because effort doesn't create clarity. Safety does. Calm is not a command your body obeys. Clarity is not something you can demand. Your system has to feel safe enough to stand down first. This is the shift that changes everything. Clarity doesn't come from thinking differently. It comes from regulating first. And regulation, my friend, doesn't mean meditation. It doesn't mean shutting down emotions. It doesn't mean fixing those thoughts. What it simply means is telling your body you're not under immediate threat. I'm not under immediate threat right now, body. I'm not under immediate threat. When that happens, your body's going to slow. Oh, okay, we're not under immediate threat. Your muscles will soften. Your attention's going to widen. Your thinking's going to return naturally. My friends, clarity doesn't need to be built. It returns once your system settles. That's why first thing in the morning, most people are clear because they don't have those racing thoughts yet. Your body doesn't need more instructions. It needs less threats. So before I close today, I want to give you something practical. This is going to be a simple clarity anchor that you can use anytime that you feel overwhelmed. It's not here to fix your thoughts, but it's here to create conditions for clarity. And here's how it works. So first you're going to pause. Stop trying to solve everything. Take a breath. Second thing to do is just take a breath. Slow breath in through your nose, long breath out through your mouth. Do it, 2 to 3 times. Third, ground yourself. Name one physical sensation. Feel your feet on the floor, the chair supporting you, the movement of the air in your chest. And that's it. Pause, breathe, ground. Don't think yet. Don't solve yet. Let the system settle first. This works because your nervous system responds faster than your thoughts. And once it feels safer, clarity is just going to come back on its own. Here's what I want you to take from today. Overwhelm is not personal failure. Clarity, not forced, and calm doesn't come from effort. It comes from regulation. And if you've been stuck in old reactions or old patterns, this week is about creating space, not pressure. So on February 11th, if you're going to come inside the Transformation Academy community on Facebook, I'm going to do a conversation that I called Breaking Free from the Old You. We're going to talk about why staying loyal to survival versions of ourselves and how to let go of those survival versions without shame. And then on YouTube, the video that's coming out is going to be how to rebuild self-trust after you've failed yourself. Because we've all failed ourselves. And clarity and self-trust always grow together. My friends, you're not behind. You're not broken, and your system needs support, not force. And that's exactly what we're building here.